Hey everybody, welcome to Dry Fire Monday here in the brand new Active Self-Protection Worldwide Headquarters, also known as my new home office. And I just want to talk to you today in Dry Fire about, this is a stock P30 LEM, wonderful P30L LEM, and this is a Robar Lazy Wolf, very highly tuned P30 LEM. And so I want to talk in Dry Fire today about whether having a highly tuned trigger is important for a carry gun. The new Mantis X10 firearms performance system has all the goodness of the original, plus holster draw analysis and recoil analysis. It's a fantastic upgrade and I recommend it highly. As always, thanks to Mantis for sponsoring the Dry Fire Monday videos, and we are going to put some objective tests to this. Now, I want to say at the outset that there is some discussion on the legal side of this, right? That's a discussion really for another day. Masad Ayub, who I respect highly, is very cautious with making a trigger lighter, but making it cleaner and crisper is okay. Some folks take that, as he said, never ever change any of the internals of a gun. Obviously, I don't believe that. This is my everyday carry gun. I believe what Mas says about being careful about trigger weight on a carry gun, very much. But you know, as far as not modifying your carry gun, this is a Wonder Blaster 3000. You've seen him on the channel. This is my everyday carry gun. This is Theseus, and bonus points if you can figure out where that came from. And so he is, first of all, went to Robar. This is the last custom gun that Robar built before they went out of business. It's got a Robar Gunsmith custom texture job on it, and then it has a Holosun 507 on it, suppressor height sights, match barrel, all that stuff. Then it went to Rick Wolf at Rick Holm rather at Lazy Wolf. Gosh, sorry, Rick. And has the most delightful trigger you could imagine. So if you watch, it's nice and smooth and very light to this point. Nice defined wall, about a 5-pound break. This is how quickly it resets. That short, and the gun is reset. So when you're working at speed, you go bang and the gun just resets that fast and is able to get back down on target. So excellent trigger. This, on the other hand, is a P30 LEM, P30L. That's the long boy version, the extra long barrel that I got from HK, and is a fine gun. Factory LEM. This is a V1 light LEM, which is where I start all of my custom LEM guns. And if you go, okay, cool. It's got a little bit more take up here, just a bit more, a little bit heavier. Bang, it's probably maybe 6 pounds, give or take, maybe 6.5. Here's where the difference is that you have to come out that far to reset it. So it's not crazy bad. Actually, in fact, the stock LEM is pretty dang good, but it's certainly not Lazy Wolf. So where does this come into play in defensive gun work? Well, I'll tell you where it comes into play is something like a precision shot at distance, okay? So if I need to make a precise shot, if I'm shooting, you know, center mass at 3 yards, I'm probably wanging away on that trigger as hard as I can. But if I have a target that's a little farther away, say like at the West Freeway Church of Christ, where Jack Wilson had to draw his pistol, get it out there, go to work, see what he was looking at, and get a headshot at 15 yards on a moving target. That's a pretty fine and refined sight picture. And that is where perhaps a tuned trigger that has a very consistent and very clean break can help you. Now, I'm going to say as well that for most people, I think that you're better off by, you know, taking whatever trigger you have in the gun you have and getting much better at the fundamentals, okay? So all the dry fire videos that we've talked about on learning how to actually run the pistol well, isolate your trigger finger and all that stuff are more important, all right? So that's, I liken it to a golfer who goes and says, you know, hey, I'm just gonna take up the game of golf. So I've played 3 or 4 rounds and now I'm gonna go buy a really expensive set of irons, when really what they need is a couple of lessons and just some time on the driving range. In the same way here, you know, at some point the equipment will start to hold you back, but you're probably more held back by your skill set in the beginning. So keep that in mind, okay? So empty gun and safe direction. Now, one of the things that we always talk about is that when we get the gun out of the holster, I'm not doing holster work today, but we get the gun out of the holster, we get both hands on the gun. Now we have to grip the gun, so that's the first thing we do, because grip is the master. Then we sight the gun, and as we sight the gun, we're gonna prep the trigger and let the trigger break when we get the sight picture that we need for the shot we need to take. And so that's what we're talking about. So right now over in my stuff, I'm not gonna show you because I don't want to rearrange the camera and all that stuff, but I have a very small target at about 5 yards. So it is the equivalent of a head box at 15 yards. It's pretty stinking small. So when I get this gun out here, I have to come and go, there it is, see enough of it to press the trigger. Now I had to, you notice once the gun went out there, I didn't wait. So the first thing I did is the gun went forward, I prepped the trigger so then it was ready to break, so that I made the decision to shoot, right? So when do I put put my finger on the trigger when I've made the decision to shoot and my sights are on the target. So I press out as I see it, then I refine it enough that I guarantee that my shot is going to hit the target. So that's one of these things that this does. Now here's the thing. So I got my gun out here, hands together, and I can start this from right here and then drive out, see it, press when I get enough to guarantee my hit. Now I could do the same thing with a stock trigger, right? Now this particular one I don't have a red dot on, so it might take me just a little bit longer, but I drive that out, see my sights, and when I get enough, I press and finish. Now I can tell you that I can feel right now that it takes me just a little bit more concentration and effort. But if you do it right, I think you can still get good and acceptable hits. So let's put it on the Mantis and get a little bit of objective data, shall we? So I'm gonna use Mantis's compressed surprise brake, and here's why I'm gonna use the compressed surprise brake to show this to me, because what it does is it says, okay, I've already got everything out here and my trigger prepped, and then I break the shot when I have the sights, because of course the sights are the ones that set the pace. But in order for us to kind of get some baseline of that, I'm gonna use a compressed surprise brake. It's gonna say, hey, now you've got the sights, press the trigger, and we'll see what we get comparing the two. Bad. It's a pretty good shot would be my guess. Oh boy, I have to really think. Okay, let's see what we got there. So what we got, I forgot to hit the record button, I'll hit it on the next one. What you got out of that, if you're looking, 92.6 at 0.34 seconds. So I had a 90.6, 92.6, 96.2, that was a fine shot, 94.5, and then the last one, 88.8, yeah, that was about right. I'm gonna record this next one so you can actually see it with the other one. Let's see how we do here. Let's reset, we're gonna put the magazine. Let's reset, we'll put the magazine in my Lazy Wolf gun. See how we do there. See the same. Boy, it feels steadier. I don't know if it's showing it. Okay, now on that guy, 95.6 at 0.26 seconds. So what you're gonna see here is 97, 96, 99.7. I can't believe I got a 99.7, 92.4, 92.5. So what you're seeing here is that tuned trigger did allow me a little bit more refinement of my sight picture, a little bit steadier shot at less time. So does it make a difference? Yes. Is it gonna make a difference for you as a beginning shooter? No. When you get to the kind of high intermediate, it'll start to make a difference. And so that's when you start to do that. Now that said, I'm kind of like a high intermediate, low advanced shooter is what I'd call myself. And so these kinds of differences make a difference. So instead of 92 average, I had a 95 average. And that 3 equates to about a half inch at 7 yards is about the difference there in those 3 points. And so does that make a difference? Yeah, it does. So what do I want you to do with practice? Well, here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about, you can start up here already. You can start with the gun extended and up and in your line of sight. And then when I get, so I prep my trigger and then I go, okay, cool. I have enough picture and I break the shot and do my sights stay on the target. Of course, if you have something like a Mantis, use the Mantis in the compressed surprise brake and it'll tell you how close you are to staying on your target. When you get done with that, your next level from here is to start with your hands together. And then what we're gonna do is drive out, see my sights, press my trigger when I have it still enough on the target to get what I need. This is a very small target. So if I'm shooting for a big target, I'm gonna shoot for the equivalent of a 7-yard A zone below it. When I see that, press it, because that's as much refinement as I need. I go, there it is, press it. Yep. Now when I see this very small headshot at 15 yards, now I have to go, there it is, press it. See the difference? Now I didn't go slower, I was more careful. So depending on my target, I go, there it is, prep, and then finish. Prep, finish. Prep, finish. And then I have to be honest with myself, did I get the hit? So that is your job this week in dry fire. You are going to start with this gun out here like this. Okay, I see it. When I'm ready, break the shot and see that my sight stayed on the trigger. The way I'm gonna do that, grip is the master, crush front to back, crush side to side, make sure that I have all the grip. Go watch the Science of Recoil Control and Grip video so that I have all that. It's out there, see it, stay on the target, don't drop. Notice that my front sight stayed nice and firm. Then when I get to that next stage, come from here, grip the gun, sight the gun, trigger the gun. That was a little fast. I might not have seen enough sights there. There's that, got it, yep, saw it there. And experiment with that at different ranges. I think when you do that, you'll see some real results here. And then at the end, if you wanna do something like a banging trigger like Rick does at Lazy Wolf Guns, to get to that kind of intermediate stage of firearms training and skill, might help you get to that next level with that stuff. Hope you have a great week, guys.